Real versus fake is the age-old debate when it comes to alien footage, and today I'm here to fuel those fires. Question for y'all: what criteria do you consider necessary to believe a clip of alien or UFO unknowns is real? Let me know in the comments, and let's see if anything from today could be. Alrighty, we're gonna kick it off with a video of aliens invading a bedroom. David Eckhart from Pensacola, Florida had a CCTV camera mounted above his bed and was stunned when watching footage back to see the creature of some sorts appear in his doorway one night as he was just lying down a couple of feet away. So, if we're looking at the video, a small alien-like figure appears to poke its head around a corner and can be seen almost full length against the backdrop of the yellow-tinted light shining from outside the room. It looked only a few inches in diameter, about 2 to 3 feet tall, and apparently this wasn't the first time David and his family were visited by unknown beings. The footage is from 2006 and came to light in an episode of the Sky History TV series called The Proof Is Out There, with the show suggesting the humanoid has similar specifications to that of a gray alien. We all know what gray aliens are, and the shape of its head and its long skinny legs are consistent with the type. According to experts, the encounters have gone on for at least 10 years and were experienced by David and all of his family at both of their residences in Pensacola, Florida. Over that time, David has described many of the scenarios he witnessed well under the control of his captors, including human experimentation and disposal, which is not uncommon for alien abductions. He has claimed that he's been taken to the reptilian underground bases many times. He's also witnessed reptilians and other entities enter into his house through a portal entry. Also, he's been taken through said portal to what he feels like is a Stargate. He's also been taken to the moon, and then another place which had a tropical environment where he encountered frog-like humanoids. The video in question today was produced from 2 full frames and parts of the preceding and latter frames and then looped in slow motion, so these beings can move in and out at remarkable speeds. No CGI or reconstruction techniques were used, just splicing of the frames to make the video. David has spoken about his various experiences on a number of podcasts and platforms over the years and remains convinced of their authenticity. His wife Jean said, "I don't know what they were. Best way I can describe them is in the movie Predator. Sparkles in the air, you could see silhouettes." She added that the aliens had been visiting them for a while and feels the visits began prior to them moving into the house. David added that you can touch them when they're in a transparent state and it feels like wet static electricity. When he was asked if he was certain his claims were not part of a hoax, he said, "Absolutely. I would put my hand on the Bible. I was just trying to investigate everything I did. I believed in everything that happened." Back in January of this year, a video of an allegedly unidentified anomalous phenomenon known as UAPs, more common term for UFOs, resembling a jellyfish, had skywatchers, pilots, and experts wondering what the heck it was. The buzz was so big, the Pentagon responded, and the response, or lack thereof, only fueled further speculation. The video in question was released by investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell, a prominent figure in the UFO community known for his work in investigations into UAPs and UFOs. Corbell says military pilots got the footage over a US Joint Operations base in Iraq around 2018, and according to him, the object was officially designated to be a UAP by the Pentagon, and the footage was taken with thermographic/forward-looking infrared radar. The official Department of Defense, DoD for short, spokesperson Sue Gao stated, "We do not comment on the authenticity of alleged DoD material that may have been leaked." Despite this, she emphasized the DoD's commitment to openness and accountability while balancing the necessity to protect sensitive information, leaving a lot of folks to wonder about the apparent contradiction. Corbell said the reason why they're not at this point able to deny it is because absolutely they're going to have to confirm it. He emphasized his and journalist George Knapp's 3.5-year effort to develop sources and verify the leaked material, saying, "We have done our due diligence and our DoD will be put in the corner. They have to be honest with the American public on this video." On the other hand, Michael Sinkowski, I could not find a pronunciation, a Marine who spoke with News Nation, was an intelligence surveillance tactical controller at the base in Iraq at the time and said he was shown the full video and soldiers didn't know what to make of it. He said the video was taken from an aerostat, which is an intelligence surveillance balloon that looks like a blimp, and it was flying over the base. So it turns out it has cameras on it to keep a lookout for threats. Back to Corbell, he said additional footage of the jellyfish UAP exists, and there's a lot more videos related to the incidents. The direct quote says, "There are more videos, you're not seeing it. I'm going to be able to tell inside of the right facility exactly where our Senate Intelligence Committee can find the rest of the videos." Apparently, the extended footage is approximately 30 minutes long and allegedly shows the UFO's trans-medium capability, its abrupt descent into the water for 17 minutes, and its rapid departure. I know the whole internet would like to see that video someday. Alien enthusiasts were in a state of frenzy recently when the conspiracy theory YouTube channel Mobby777 released an eerie video showing a strange creature walking in the Canadian woods. The YouTube channel reveals that the spooky clip was captured on July 29th of 2018 by a local resident. The video description reads as follows: "I was filming a moose on a roadside in Gaspésia, Quebec, Canada. Looking at the video, I saw this strange shape at the back left. Can someone tell me what it is?" At the first glance, the strange creature spotted in the video seems very similar to the alien beings we have seen in movies like Mars Attack. The alleged alien tried to hide in the woods after noticing that a camera spotlight was on it, and there was also a moose standing nearby, and the alien being seems to be trying to attack it once it gets a chance. The video obviously went viral online, and viewers started putting forward various theories explaining the eerie sighting. Most of the viewers argued that the object spotted in the video might be reptilian aliens who are indirectly controlling the world with the help of the elites. Now, according to that theory, a lot of the elite personalities in the world are actually shape-shifting reptilian aliens, something we've talked about on here before, and now they are slowly gearing up for who knows what. According to a quote we have, it looked like the thing wanted to attack the moose but didn't want to be seen, as if it was getting impatient because, well, there's a human sitting there and the moose went back to the woods. Someone needs to put all this through a video editor and see if they can improve the visuals around that thing. So that comment was made by the user Sketcher. No, not the shoes, just somebody out there. This next video is one that might raise some questions. It showed up on YouTube in 2011 as part of a collection of leaked videos that demonstrate an alien being interrogated by some unknown government agency. It is a typical gray type alien entity, shown being interviewed and examined, supposedly as some part of diplomatic exchange. And here's the moment you've been waiting for. He says he's from the Zeta Reticuli star system, sent as part of an envoy to discuss matters of mutual concern. As of September of 2019, no extrasolar planets have been found in that system, according to government experts. That's what the government's saying. We don't know if that's the truth. So for the uninitiated, what the heck is Zeta Reticuli? It is a wide binary star system in the southern constellation of Reticulum. From the southern hemisphere, the pair can be seen with the naked eye as a double star in the very dark skies. Based upon parallax measurements, this system is located at a distance of almost 39.3 light years from Earth. Both stars are solar analogs that have characteristics similar to those of the Sun and belong to the Zeta Herculis moving group of stars that share a common origin. So what does this have to do with this little alien? Well, according to the videos, the aliens are from that star system, and they would be escorted by special officers and only meet with high-ranking officials here on Earth. Although several aliens are claimed to have been present, the one most prominently featured was given the nickname Skinny Bob, becoming an internet legend. The alien appears as a very thin, slouched-over figure with an oversized bald head, slit-like mouth, large eyes that seem expressive and blank, and claw-like hands. There was apparently a whole series of interviews conducted with the creature between 1942 and 1969, although only a few clips have managed to get leaked out. The most well-known clip simply shows Skinny Bob sitting at a table during a telepathic interview, after which we see footage of the alien from head to toe, showing its disproportionately long arms and overall build. After that, there is a moment seen of it within a pool of some sort of liquid where it would sleep, and according to the videos, the aliens were often filmed without their knowledge or agreement, with document 072E supposedly describing an incident in 1961 when three of the beings realized that they were being secretly filmed by a hidden device, which was a violation of their agreement. There was a treaty that stipulated that photographs and filming of these gray aliens would not be allowed unless specific permission was given. The diplomatic exchange of it all matches up with what folks know about Area 51 being a secret place for meetings and more. The video has also been presented as alleged leaked footage from the KGB, but that remains unconfirmed. And for our final footage today, we're going back to 1995. Ray Santilli, a London-based entrepreneur, released footage of an alien autopsy performed in Roswell in 1947. Experts immediately ridiculed the footage as a hoax, and yes, Ray did admit years later that it was almost entirely fake, but apparently the real footage does exist. He said that in 1993 or 1994, he personally saw footage of the autopsy in its original form and brought it back with him to the UK. But within a year, most of the footage had completely deteriorated. The only thing that was left was a few frames that were used as reference and were restored. They were apparently restored over a very long period of time, and that's what he wanted to do. Just restore what was a very damaged film. Seeing as most of the footage that we know about that has anything to do with Area 51, Roswell, or aliens tends to get redacted, destroyed, or heavily censored, I believe this. A few weekends ago, the weekend of March 9th to the 10th to be specific, Rock Springs city attorney and longtime UFO investigator Richard Beckwith spotted something strange in the Wyoming sky, unlike anything else he had seen in his career. Thankfully for us, he captured this on camera. Now, what did he say? Well, he said, "I've never seen a UFO before I made this recording. We have the footage with us now, and I'd like for you folks to watch it." To me, it looks like a mix of yellowish, reddish, and orange spacecrafts that are all flying together, and they're all radiating lights. They're definitely flying in a way that doesn't make any logical sense when you consider human technology for aircrafts, unless the military wants to fess up right now about any tech they haven't told us about yet, which not gonna happen. And I'm including drones in my comparison, by the way. I've seen enough of those amateur and professional models of the little guys in action to know that this isn't that. So late in the evening on March 9th, Beckwith received a call from a friend who lived near Green River, about 15 miles southwest of where he was. So he grabbed his camera, his tripod, and what he witnessed once he got there came as a shock. He watched the object pulsating. It was moving rapidly from side to side. Now, Beckwith isn't trying to prove the object was an alien spacecraft, he's just trying to find an explanation. But you know where we stand on this. He has received a few potential leads on social media, but hasn't yet found any evidence as to what it could be. Now, it's time for him to dive into his investigation. He's done the right thing. He requested radar records from the FAA and connected with other witnesses. Gathering this information will help him find a reasonable explanation, or it might help him determine if it's truly a UFO. We do have a quote from him. He spoke to a couple of press outlets. He said that using the locations of the two different groups of witnesses, including myself, the angle and the distance between those two, and the angles between them and the object, and trigonometry, I should be able to pretty easily determine the location and get a good estimate of the size of the object. Right now, I have no idea. Well, when it comes to me, math ain't my strong suit, never has been, so I'm gonna trust him on that front. He's still hunting, and I wish him luck getting those radar records. Look, he did the right thing by asking for them, but I doubt he's gonna get them. He's also been pleading for anybody with more information to email him, and I bet his inbox is already flooded. So, good luck, pal. Time to travel over to the Ukraine for our next video. I mean virtually, folks. That's not somewhere you want to be vacationing anytime soon. I can't spell out why, because Yule Tube rules, but I'm sure we're all pretty aware of current world events. So the 406th Battalion captured a UFO on tape with a drone on the front lines over in Ukraine, and the video in question was posted to Reddit about a month ago. User Lively420 described the video as exclusive footage submitted to the frontier conflict from a unit they support showing a UAP over the front lines in the Ukraine. So, let's watch the video. Yeah, you can see it zooming in on what looks like a flat disc UFO in a gray sky, and that's a pretty typical UFO shape, ergo makes sense to me. User Toru32 was kind enough to decipher the chatter in the video for everybody, so allow me to discuss what was being said. Why can't he fire missiles at us? What do you mean? Holy F. F word. What the F is this? I'm telling you it's UFO for sure. It's standing still. Zoom in more. It's standing still, do you see? Can't see anything on the thermal cameras. Maybe ram it? They couldn't make out the last sentence, but I'm sure you get the idea by this point. Not to sound like a broken record, but if military officials don't know what the bleep they're seeing in the sky, and these are folks trained to recognize aircrafts from all sorts of different ways of the world, I'm leaning once again towards UFO. It should be noted that a lot of these experts are trained at what they call REIS, which is the art of recognizing aircrafts by their shapes, paint schemes, unit insignia, and more. Hyperfixation to the max? Maybe, but it takes a very specific brain to remember all of that. And if something doesn't make sense to that person, being the expert, it falls under unknown. Some folks have tried to discredit this video by saying it looks like a ship in the water, but consider the following. This footage was taken over land, and the pros are using a thermal camera. Ergo, the distortion causing the air over the water temperature shift would be visible. I don't have any other theories, but let me know in the comments if you do. Also, if this is legit, this means that commercial quadcopter drones are able to detect UFOs, and that's pretty huge news. You could potentially blanket an area with a drone swarm, all armed with IR cameras pointed right up. Since drones don't have, meat pilots, they're able to perform maneuvers that would otherwise be impossible to endure the G-forces of with any conventional aircraft, so we could get some close approaches. Okay, imagine this. Somebody reports a sighting, you could have like 30 plus drones in the area in minutes to investigate in a non-hostile manner. I would be foaming at the mouth for that footage and clarity. Like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Here's another Reddit gem, footage from some skydivers. This is definitely a clip where you need to wait it out. Because sure, I was ready to dismiss this one at first. I was like, okay, very obvious balloons in the sky, hoax hat on, next, click off. But then I was scrolling through the comments and I realized I wasn't supposed to be paying attention to that. I was supposed to wait for the curious little white dotted formation to appear near the folks hanging out in the sky. User Emery X captioned this video by saying, "We're skydivers, so we know it's not us." Second white speck we've seen today, seemingly floating down, wind up high. Odd orbital looking activity around it when zoomed in. Thought maybe stabilization stuff, but the bugs flying around in the video don't have that problem. So right there, that rules out a lot of the obvious debunking possibilities. They mentioned later that they conferred with the human in the sky, who had also seen the unknown white things, so that's even more confirmation of it being something unknown, ergo a UFO. I think some of the commenters summed up my feelings exactly. If it's not CGI or doctored, I don't know what the bleep that is. The movement of the fast moving white thing around the bigger white thing reminded some folks of the ping pong ball in a cup effect that Dave Fravor described when he first saw the Tic Tac, and I agree with that. To elaborate, Retired Navy Commander David Fravor, I know, I should be formal, was commander of the FA-18F Squadron on the Nimitz when he spotted that specific object during a flight off of the coast of Southern California on November 14th of 2004. Him and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, who I've talked about a lot of times on this channel, were training with the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group about 100 miles southwest of San Diego. Now at the time, advanced radar on a ship that was part of their training group, the Princeton, detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon, descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. Fravor and Dietrich diverted to investigate. Fravor was like, dude, do you see that thing down there? And they saw this little white Tic Tac looking object that was kind of moving around above the whitewater area. Now during the trainings exercise, both of them each had a weapons system officer in the backseat of the plane. So there was 4 folks in airplanes just watching this thing for about 5 minutes. Fravor was like, okay, I'm going in, let's get a closer look. And he described the Tic Tac object mirroring his movements. He's like, it was aware we were there. The object was about the size of the plane, no markings, no wings, no exhaust plumes, and when he tried to cut it off, it accelerated so quickly that it just disappeared. He said it was detected roughly 60 miles away less than a minute later. Now later, he went on record as saying, I think what we experienced was well beyond the material science and the capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years. I think this spotting was similar to that one, and I stand by that statement as well. This is technically both a Reddit and a TikTok post, and while I usually hesitate to use TikTok as any kind of reference with how much videos can be edited on that platform, this seemed legitimate enough for me. User Dylan's mom uploaded this gem, which, sidebar, such a cute username. The caption reads as follows. On Friday, March 1st of 2024, around 6 p.m., I captured a strange black object moving and changing shape in the sky above Bennington, Vermont. I did use Google Photos to help stabilize the video, and I muted the background noises of all the traffic and my voice. The video quality isn't that great, so I do apologize for that. No other edits have been made though. If anyone has any ideas of what this could be, please feel free to leave a comment. I posted my video on my TikTok account, but I wanted to share it with all of you. And seems innocent enough. So in the video, you can see what looks like a typical sunset, and then at first what seems like a speck of dust or a plastic bag in the sky. But then the camera zooms in a smidge and focuses, and you can clearly tell that what we're looking at is some sort of dark flat UFO that's aimed in a way that, well, wouldn't make sense velocity-wise for any kind of human aircraft or drone. Some folks suggested it could be a black contrail, which if you're not familiar with the term, don't worry, neither was I until today. Contrails, which is short for condensation trails or vapor trails, are line-shaped clouds produced by aircraft engine exhaust or changes in air pressure, typically at aircraft's cruising altitudes several miles above Earth's surface. Look, I used to see jets flying in the air all the time growing up, and this was too precise in my opinion to be a contrail. It was too solid and didn't seem to break apart. Also, once again, what human spacecraft leaves black condensation behind? That just doesn't make sense. Alrighty folks, we're gonna end today with a story that I know has been on everybody's minds lately, and that's the monolith that popped up over near Hay Bluff. So last week, a hiker in Wales said he discovered this monolith, and it's kind of similar to those found around the world in 2020. Craig Muir, a builder, discovered the approximately 10-foot tall, I don't know what, during a regular hike, which means he's familiar with the area. Ergo, this wasn't just something left behind, some new discovery. This was something new that landed here on Earth. Originally, he was like, okay, it's a little bizarre. It might be a scientific media research thing collecting rainwater. But then he was like, okay, no, I'm wrong. This is too tall, too strange. What on earth? So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go investigate, which you're very brave to do so. He's like, okay, it's about 10 feet tall, kind of triangular, definitely stainless steel, maybe. At least that's what he knows. He's like, it seems hollow. I guess he knocked on it. And he's like, it seems like it would be pretty light. Which, hey, that all makes sense with what we know about UFOs. The column is similar to the monoliths discovered in a southwest Utah desert back in 2020. And there was also some that were discovered in like California, Texas, Florida, Wisconsin, Romania, and plenty of other places. Now, while the most famous artist later took credit for several of the US-based monoliths, nobody's claimed this one. So I'm betting on the aliens here with their advanced technology and advanced materials. Alrighty folks, so we're gonna start today off with the son of a man who once ripped a bat's head off with his teeth. None other than Jack Osbourne. Hey look, if you're the offspring of Ozzy and Sharon, I'm assuming you've seen some wild stuff in your time, and ergo might be better at telling the supernatural apart from simply out of the ordinary. So in his show, Jack Osbourne's Night of Terror, UFOs, which is a long title, but whatever, the star teamed up with a couple of his buddies, and since I feel like being a name dropper, Jason Mewes and Jamie Kennedy, with the trio heading off to Utah's Uinta Basin, where the notoriously creepy and mysterious Sherman Ranch sits. Yes, it has another name as well. No, I will not be saying it out of respect. The area has long been known for its otherworldly and unexplainable activity. The 500 acres of isolated land are located between Ballard and Vernal in Utah. Now, the Sherman Sherman family acquired the ranch way back in the 1990s. I thought I'd be funny there. And local myths have haunted the region though for centuries, before and afterwards. Now, before the Sherman family inhabited the ranch, the spot was known as UFO Alley. And the Desert News reported that in 1978, nearby residents had spotted a dome-shaped UFO over the ranch that was surrounded by a glowing green light. The family reported doorways of light appearing in mid-air, cattle that vanished, animals mutilated on their property, crop circle-like patterns in the surrounding fields, unidentified flying objects or orbs, and invisible objects emitting destructive magnetic fields. While investigating the disappearance of cattle, one man reportedly saw a large beast, like a wolf but bigger, harassing cattle near the ranch. The man fired an explosive at the creature that hit its intended target, but the creature didn't slow down and appeared to escape unscathed. In recent years, residents of the area have reported seeing strange lights both in the sky and close to the ground, and creatures and shapeshifters manifesting and then disappearing before their eyes. So, let's bring in our guys, shall we? They were joined by UFO expert and former FBI agent Ben Hansen, and they wanted to attempt to figure out if all these phenomena were connected, and also why is all this crazy activity concentrated in that specific area. And hey, I love a good hotspot story, so let's indulge this one. According to Jack, he's been obsessed with the concept of whether or not we're alone since he was like really young and used to stare up at the stars in the sky at night. Hey, I still do it. Now, this area in particular has fascinated him for years because it is a mecca for alien and supernatural activity. To quote him, people are drawn for specific things, but when you come here looking for it, you ought to find something you're not looking for. I've never been to any place like this, and it's its own realm. Alrighty. So thankfully, Hansen brought a grounded and thorough understanding and knowledge, about UFOs to the table, whereas Jack's buddies were responsible for the comedy relief. You know what, Kennedy confessed, "I'm okay if I see an alien along the way, as long as it doesn't mess me up. Okay, nobody tell him about Betty and Barney Hill, or anything else I ever talk about on here." So on the second night of their investigation, powerful lightning ripped through the area. Jack even said, "It's like something doesn't want us to be here." And there was more than a little indication that he was right. Is this where I say no SHIT, Sherlock? So he decided, you know what, I'm gonna try the night vision goggles. Always a fun little gadget. And that's when Jack saw something really odd trekking very quickly through the desert. Upright like a human, but then it just vanished. To quote him, "I swear to God, I effing just saw an S-walker. And we got it on effing tape, dude," which was what he told its producer, referring to, the shape-shifting witch of legend that morphs into various animals, like wolves or bears. And the evidence didn't stop there, leaving them convinced that the area was a supernatural melting pot, which, obviously. Moving along, we've got out of this world level security. Look, I guess since the US government covers up so much alien and UFO stuff, it makes sense that it could be one of the places aliens are either forced to work at or just work at for safety in our world. There's a saying that the internet never forgets, and that's certainly true of old videos that kind of refuse to die. So this video in particular shows a US Secret Service agent who a lot of us think might be a reptilian shapeshifter. Now this is back from 2013. This is over a decade old now, and it stems from a speech given by former US President Barack Obama at a policy conference, and it was held by a lobbying group known as AIPAC. In the video, conspiracy theorists zoom in on the Secret Service agent and accuse him of being a reptile, saying stuff like, "This was the day that the government was caught with a reptilian Secret Service agent in HD and they didn't deny anything," which kind of raises some obvious questions such as, I don't know. If the government was trying to hide its reptilian agents, why put one in a highly visible position at a televised event? If reptilians are capable of shapeshifting to look like humans, why not just shapeshift into something less obvious, like a table, or a chair, or a microphone? Do shapeshifting reptilians get full pay and benefits, similar to government employees? Look, while this might be considered a conspiracy theory, I looked at the footage myself, I believe it, and also, with the hours that Secret Service must have to keep, it makes sense that a more advanced race would be best in charge of protection guidelines. Now, I did read a story published by Wired way back when, and there was a quote from Caitlin Hayden, spokeswoman for the National Security Council, in which she refers to the budget cuts at the time, saying, "I can't confirm the claims made in this video, but any alleged program to guard the president with aliens or robots would likely have to be scaled back or eliminated in the sequester. I'd refer you to the Secret Service or Area 51 for more details." I guess alien guards got a raw deal during the sequester. Now, the White House didn't clarify if its reptilian Secret Service agents are subject to the furloughs without pay that were affecting federal employees at the time. That might have prevented Obama from falling into the clutches of an intergalactic conspiracy, which, who knows, maybe the president was in on it from the start. One theorist claims that he literally looked for the video everywhere and couldn't find it. The only place it existed now was Reddit. So if the government was trying to hide the video, it's doing a really bad job. This theory's been floating around for years. I'm not the first one to say it, I won't be the last. Also, one of the more prominent promoters was David Icke. So this whole thing is pretty sure that this race of reptilians is secretly controlling the world, pulling the strings in major human atrocities. Now, David, who is English, has been barred from holding events in countries like the Netherlands and Germany because of his theories. I don't know, folks. What do you think? I saw the footage. I think it's real. Okie doke. So now we're in the middle of the pack, and this one is my personal favorite footage, I think, ever. Right here on the interwebs, I declare Melania Trump is a shapeshifter. Does anybody else remember back in like 2017 to 2020 when Donald Trump was in office and videos of Melania looking a little off took over the internet? Specifically, the first hashtag fake Melania seems to have landed on October 13th of 2017 when a video of Donald and Melania in a news segment was uploaded to Facebook by Andy Wagner. So in the segment, Trump was talking to reporters when he mentioned Melania, who happens to be right here, he said. He gestured to the Melania-esque sort of looking woman in sunglasses next to him, and she didn't say anything, but she does a lot of nodding. So a couple days later, Wagner put it on YouTube, then she tweeted about it a few times, and then it went viral, and now, fake Melania. So after that went viral, Stephanie Grisham, the First Lady's communications director, went on CNN to do some damage control, saying that, once again, we find ourselves consumed with a ridiculous non-story. We could be talking about the work the First Lady is doing, including the opioid crisis that is gripping the nation. Good attempt at taking the conversation in another direction, but I took PR in university. Try better. Here's my theory. What if Melania is an alien shapeshifter and the photos and videos caught her on an off day where she wasn't at full power? Similar to Superman, maybe there's something in our universe that acts as like a kryptonite of sorts for her, which is why she's so reclusive in her ways. Fake Melania kind of put the First Lady's reserved approach to her post in the East Wing under a magnifying glass. She stayed in New York City with her son for the first 5 months of Trump's term, and rarely gave public comment in the first 2 years, which is a good way to avoid scrutiny from eagle-eyed folks looking for proof of alien DNA. A source close to Melania claimed that she wasn't really keen on being in the White House, and she even disappeared from public life for weeks. Maybe she was visiting alien relatives. Eventually, her office attributed the absence to a kidney ailment. So even though the White House tried to bury all of this, the meme came back one more time when Trump and his wife visited Alabama. And then, a couple days afterwards, was spiking. Eventually it settled. Eventually, Trump had to weigh in on Twitter and said, "The fake news photoshopped pictures of Melania then propelled my conspiracy theories that it's actually not her by my side in Alabama and other places." Hey, maybe that's why Trump's so batty. He's around alien tech all the time. Ever tried that on for size? Alright, next up, one has to ask, do aliens rule the world? Look, I've already talked about possible aliens in the White House. It's not that much of a stretch to guess that maybe part of the royal family might be of alien descent. May the former Queen of England absolutely rest in peace, but honest to goodness, I don't think anybody lives that long without having some sort of secret. So if you look closely at the video in question, particularly at the Queen's eyes, something is just a little off. Being in power for 70 years without slipping up in one's disguise is a feat I absolutely commend her for. But at the same time, after that faux pas, she retreated more and more from public events, probably to protect her identity. Look, I'm not the only one with this theory, and I know it. There's quite the popular theory out there that Draconian Martians are a superior race of being, and over time they've traveled to Earth and either organically become our leaders or replace those already in charge to lead up to their end goal, whatever it may be. And before somebody says that's far-fetched, similar tales exist all throughout history, dating back to fairies and changelings, which is honestly something I also believe in. And I'm guessing you do too, or else you wouldn't be here. Alrighty folks, so I'm gonna end today's list with what might be a controversial take, so bear with me here. What if I told you that on a remote ranch in Oaxaca, Mexico, a farmer named Roman Ochoa claims to have witnessed something really nuts? So let's just picture this right now. It's not like all the other footage today. This mysterious creature, neither fully man nor beast, seemingly caught in the act. So Roman is the owner of the Ojo de Agua Ranch and has a tale that kind of is a mixture of mythology, werewolf folklore, but you've got a bit of a dash of extraterrestrial intrigue, which is why it fit this list. He swears by the existence of naguals, beings believed to have the ability to transform into their spirit animals. In this case though, it's not just a run-of-the-mill shapeshifting scenario. It's a man morphing into a werewolf, and happening right on his ranch. Now according to Roman, the man in question didn't stumble upon this extraordinary power by accident. And it's not a curse, not a magical mishap. The werewolf abilities were bestowed upon this individual by an alien. Yeah, so an extraterrestrial entity allegedly granted the power of metamorphosis to this unsuspecting earthling, ergo, alien shapeshifter. Now let's talk about the evidence. We do have a picture capturing the transformation in progress. The creature in question, halfway between man and werewolf, stands on all fours, paws eerily resembling human feet. Imagine being inches away from such a spectacle, and despite the proximity, Roman insists that the ranch workers remained unharmed. How's that for a close encounter? Look, the implications are staggering. After everything I've talked about today, shape-shifting aliens granting extraordinary powers to humans in our world? Are we witnessing the intersection of ancient mythologies and extraterrestrial inventions? Who knows? Maybe I should go visit that ranch.